are you doing? Oh, well, doing some exercise and running a little bit. Oh, that's nice. And do you always... No. How many times a week do you come here and run? You mean how often do I run? Yeah, that's the word. Yeah. Hello everyone. Welcome to today's lesson. In today's class, we're going to check this expression, this part of an expression, which is how often. The first thing I want you to notice is that we don't pronounce letter T. We only say often. Often. Listen carefully. Okay? So the question is how often, and we use this expression to ask how frequently does a person do an action, like as a routine, a habit, okay? Remember we talked about simple present? Well, how often is very related to simple present. So now we are going to check how can we form this question. Actually, this little formula I'm going to present to you, it's for all kind of questions. This is not only for how often or simple present. You can apply this to all kind of questions, but maybe we can see that later. So the first thing is a WH word, but take something in consideration. The WH word, it's like this is like optional. You may have it, you may need it, or you may not. So this is not something that you will find in a question. In case you have it, well, it's going to be on the first place. WH word. In these questions, the WH word will be how often together, okay? How often will be something together. So after the WH word, we're going to need the auxiliary. What is an auxiliary? Well, we need auxiliaries for negatives, for questions, and for short answers. Remember that for simple present, it can be do or it can be does. It depends on who are you talking about. Auxiliary for you will be do, right? And if you're talking about third person, that will be he, she, or it, you will need does. Okay, only for those three will be does. For I, we, you, and they, you need do. So you only have to think about who are you talking to with this question, and you need that auxiliary. Example, how often, WH word, the auxiliary it will be do in this question. Then is your subject. Who are you talking about? Well, you. This is a question for you. Subject, and at the end is the action. Pretty easy with the formula. You just have to follow the steps. Okay? So another example. How often do you, and the action is play soccer. How often do you play soccer? In case you want to talk about third person, that will be your friend, your mom, one of your sisters, one of your neighbors, that will be third person. Remember, he, she, or it. So you will need does. How often does your sister, in this case, my subject is going to be your sister. Instead of your sister, it could be Anna or your mom or wherever you want to write about or to ask about. Okay, so how often does Anna travel? Maybe to Mexico City or Puerto Vallarta, wherever. Okay? Alright, now let's check the other part. Let's check about the answers. Okay, this is important too. We can use frequency adverbs to talk about routines and habits. Simple present, again. Okay? And we have more, but I included only like the very, very basics. Always, usually, often, sometimes, and never. As you can see, this is like a little scale. Always will be all the time. Never well, you know what it means, okay? So these are like in the middle. Usually it's more like into always. Often will be just in the middle, and sometimes, well, maybe it's not that often, but you do that action or that activity, okay? So you can answer with frequency adverbs when a person asks you about how often do you do an activity, okay? Or if you want to only like tell a person how often do you do an action, the formula, it will be like this: your subject and then the frequency adverb. Let's see. I usually, first is the subject and then it's the frequency adverb. Look, I usually drive to work. I never cook on Sundays. We sometimes watch TV after school. So, subject first, frequency adverb, and after the frequency adverb, you are going to consider the action, okay? Well, we finished for today. Try to write down or maybe try to speak to a partner about your routines, some of the actions that you usually do, and try to practice the questions and try to practice the answers too. Goodbye.